That's what life is, yeah? A beacon of hope to those who admire it, and a light at the end of the tunnel to those striving in silence without minding who is admiring, because the beauty of now is about one post at a time, one visual at a time, one work at a time, one everything at a time, you know. You have to let your audience listen and understand what you're trying to pass on, because if you don't let them digest it, you know, then they won't understand the bigger picture of where you're heading to, of where whatever you're building on with, you know, is heading to. Because everything has a goal, everything has a destination. You have to choose. You live to decide. The world won't always be on your side, because everyone is busy fighting something, everyone is busy looking for something, everyone is totally busy trying to admire someone else. So you don't die in your movie dreaming of stepping in the White House without going through the hard toil of how they get there. I mean, it's a tourism space too, yeah? People go there for tourism, you know, they go to the White House just for tourism. Oh, I've got an ego in my space. So, if you want to tour the White House, do you really know what steps you take? What procedures you go through? Who to talk to? Where to visit? This is simple basics. You know, everyone should have at their fingertips before you say, I want to be this, I want to be that. Find out how you earn that. Find out how you get there. Go there, experience it, move on. It's a moment you want to earn. You've earned it. So live it, relive it, and move on. Because that's the beauty of creating a silver spoon for yourself. People won't always be shouting. People don't shout, you know. People love their peace. People love their calmness. I mean, but a lot stresses people off, yeah. And they find themselves in moods where everything they're saying is actually feels like they are shouting to the everyone. Arrogancy. No, I'm the one in this seat and you can't tell me anything. You just give me what I want. I mean, that kind of arrogancy. That's why corporations and organizations and other civilizations move on, you know. Because by the time you say, I can't change this because I'm this, someone else who can adjust is actually adjusting and changing their entire economy in a blink of an eye. Yeah. The time you take to know it should be created by mine. Someone is earning it, yeah, differently. Have you ever looked inside every device you use? Do you know why American brands are actually using Chinese factories, manufacturers to create their product? Because it's a two-way street. By empowering China with money in terms of employment and scaling their children, they're also elevating themselves so that those at their cabins actually think different. If a Chinese is doing this for me, then I should be doing something a Chinese can do for me. That's how economies change. Yeah. You know, brokering, yeah, that is job creation. Because brokering is different. Brokering is where you walk in with nothing, you say I can sell this for you at this percentage, and you sell it and earn your percentage and move on. Which some institutions don't entertain, which some institutions entertain. Because life is a two-way street. So as we move on to understand the Generation Z and its needs, the many leadership needs everyone needs now, have you ever sat down and queried yourself? Empowerment in your community. Has anyone ever failed to, put on a project at your watch? I've seen someone fail to put on a very big project, very big community project, because of funding or because of whatever happens there. Yeah. Kids will always be kids. I was a kid then, but now I understand it. Yeah. This guy was engineering a water system where people are actually using coins, his own coins. You see, like you're a brand and you have your own coin. Yeah, the man had his own coin. You work in the system and it was giving people water. All you do is drop your coin in, water comes out at exactly 20 liters, it breaks. Another coin in, 20 liters, it breaks. Now that is metrical and measurements, yeah? But if such a project failed 25 years ago, where is our world heading? Because I would love such technology to exist today, where the hard to reach areas just use a coin to get this clean water without traveling miles. Because the national water systems can't go to every area, Look at your map as a nation. Look at your national water system. Does it go to every border? The answer is right there. So let those who can actually change communities with better technology. Let private institutions and organizations do what they're supposed to do. Because actually they invest so much in this infrastructure and everything in between. Yeah? Just like by the time you feel a mosquito on your skin, it's already sucking your blood. So by the time you feel like, oh, this technology is too advanced not to be like maybe owned by your own or someone else that you can maybe shout at, you're cutting off a lot of investment from your community. We've been here. Yeah, it's no witchcraft. Disney has been here creating cartoons. Yeah, we've watched the Tom and Jerry. We've watched all other cartoons, the Aldin. Yeah. But as we watch these cartoons and these creations, we imagine the technology that creates it. There is a man I love so much, James Cameron. Yeah. The guy is a very big director. I treasure his work. Yeah. One time he sounded crazy when he talked about Avatar. You know, I want to produce something so real beyond a cartoon. And the production houses were like, are you crazy? How can we achieve that? We can only create something like Tom and Jerry. A decade later, CGI was released, and him being the man with all the desire, look at Avatar. Good Lord, it's marvelous. It's not even a blockbuster. That's a universal bust. That's not even just a block. Yeah, that's the entire universe right there. Because it's a two-sided story. Imagine if somebody walked into Earth and they're like, hey, now we want to occupy Earth. Yeah, that would be the story. To be like Avatar. That's why protectors are there, to make sure the world is safer. Before we get surprised. That's why people do research, so that we don't get surprises, so that people can prevent diseases and not be surprised. Yeah. So that's the power of creating your own silver spoon. You understand what others don't understand. You look at things differently. You change your perspective of how life is, and change other people's mindsets. So today we're looking at everything moving on, but we should understand that we are actually doing the best for everyone. There is technology that can be everywhere. You can't be driving the Formula 1 car everywhere on the streets. I mean, that's a beast. Finding it on the streets anywhere. Ooh, what road? I mean, it's driven on a controlled road. So flying that arrow on the streets. So think of it every time you try to understand everything. Life is a library, big library. You can only read what you can afford to understand. And if you read what you can afford to understand, don't think everyone else understands it the way you understand it. No, we don't understand whatever we read the way everyone understands it. This is why our IQs are different. Intelligence quotients? Yep. So believe in that future by trusting the value of now. What you see as that is where others are earning money from. Collecting rubbish from the streets. That's where garbage companies are making money. Yeah. Cleaning trenches, making sure the corporations and everyone else in the essential section is actually receiving the services they pay for. Yeah. The corporate responsibilities. What corporate responsibility has your brand or your company actually put forward? The very many causes. The global goals are very many. Poverty comes first. Yeah? Which global goal is your brand looking at? Because every global goal means changing life, changing another person's life. This is what caring means. This is what passing on love means. Yeah, that's the value of now. So as we think of how and why this and that is happening, let us also think of how and why we can't be different than our mindsets. People were always populate your thinking, your mind with something, some ideology they want you to understand. Yeah. How do I get to someone in a distance if I don't have their phone numbers? A Muslim could shout the Islamic call, which is still happening now, and many communities have actually picked on it. I've seen it around in market centers where someone is putting out a big horn and shouting at people. That is noise pollution. In this era, the .com era, that's noise pollution. Then it was actually okay in that age. I mean, it was religion and people can actually call each other that way to pray. Today it's noise pollution if you found in the market putting out that horn and shouting. Because as you don't want to be disturbed while you're eating your food, is how someone else actually doesn't want to hear anything while they're doing their mathematics, while they're calculating for the businesses they are managing. Yeah. Now imagine somebody doing the math for someone and then being disorganized by sound, distracted. By the time they finish doing this algorithm, it's digital. They only press one key and all the money walks away. They can't explain it. They can't bring it back. They can't tell anyone that it's actually just simple distraction that caused that mess. Then you live with that. You find a way to cover it up. If it's big, it's not that big lump sum of money. You find it, you put it there, and you keep the job. Yeah. But what it teaches you is, why should someone actually be next to you when you're inputting such vital information into any device? Let's say you're banking. That's why the ATM machine only allows one person inside, so that you're not distracted while you're actually trying to make a transaction. It can go to a wrong account and it will be you losing because you paid attention to distraction. That's what you have to live with, Don't pay attention to distraction. Don't pay anything to distraction. Don't pay anything to distraction, because actually distraction takes away everything that the world thinks you care about. And when you lose it, it doesn't even come back. It just goes, and forever you never see it, because you were distracted from actually paying attention to what exactly you should be earning. You deserve better, you deserve more, yeah? But you're limited by the resources, you're limited by mindsets. Now you can't achieve that, you know. The world is not as rich as you think. People are actually poor. People are suffering. Not everyone is suffering. People can afford things, you know. Why are you marketing the agony when actually you're dining in happiness? Don't market the agony if you're dining in happiness. Share that happiness with those in agony. Be on the ground, yeah. Princess Diana was on the ground, in the minefields, all the way from UK, the United Kingdom, into the minefields. She was a caring heart, yeah. The world will never have that back. Never. We can only pick a leaf from her legacy, but we can never have her back. I, for one, I was alive when the news broke, Fayed and Diana. Then I imagined today a lot happens without being actually noticed, because there is a lot of news circulating around, there is a lot of this circulating around, but even your news source or your sources of information actually limit your mindset. That's why if you find a parent teaching their kids how to watch DSTV, their kids are actually picking on a totally different information from anyone. No one wants you to be anything. No one wants you to be anything. All you can be is you. No one wants you to be anything. That's the value of now. All you can be is you. So be you. Let it be.